Hello everyone and welcome back. Winter's here, and for many of you that means it's time to put your bike to bed for a few months. Winterization is a well-known procedure in the marine industry, but it seems it isn't widespread in the motorcycle world. Today I'll give you the best tips and tricks for winterizing your motorcycle so that when spring comes, it'll be trouble-free and ready to ride. Let's get to it. One of the best places to start is with an oil analysis and full service with fluid and filter change. Capturing a sample of your oil and having it analyzed is a great way to have an early indication of a potential engine problem. If your bike's down for the winter anyway, that would be the best time to have it checked out and repaired if necessary. The reason you want to change all fluids is because moisture, fuel, and all the contaminants from normal operation are suspended in your oil, and it becomes acidic. Leaving that oil in for months can degrade internal drivetrain parts. Now, KLOTZ manufactures a full line of lubricants for your V-twin, from fully synthetic engine oils to primary and transmission gear oils as well. They also offer full spectrum oil analysis. Now, if you've watched the channel long enough, you'll know I'm a big fan of a different brand of synthetic oil. KLOTZ is confident of their quality and has asked if I, and you, our viewers, would like to put it to the test. Now, KLOTZ isn't new to synthetic oils by any means. This is more of a real-world comparison to validate claims, so be sure to watch the video all the way to the end so you can find out how you can be involved. The number one problem area during long-term storage is actually your fuel. Fuel containing at least 10% ethanol has become the standard. While this may not cause issues with regular use or after short-term storage of around, say, a couple of weeks, it can be a big problem with longer storage. There is a condition that can occur in blended fuels called phase separation, which can happen in almost any situation where gasoline is stored. Ethanol is hydrophilic, which means it attracts moisture. Remember, your fuel tank is vented, which means it's exposed to moisture in the air or humidity, as well as condensation. Phase separation happens when ethanol molecules in your fuel attach to water molecules in the air. And once this mixture reaches its saturation point, it separates from the fuel and sinks to the bottom of your tank. Now, this is a big problem. Ethanol is highly corrosive. This can destroy your fuel tank. Now, once it's mixed with water, it turns into this useless, toxic, non-flammable sludge that can destroy your carburetor, your injectors, fuel pump, regulator, and your fuel lines as well. Most often, you may not be aware that phase separation has even happened, but using fuel that has experienced phase separation can cause considerable damage to your engine, as this gunk is pumped through it during a cold start. I've already been using KLOTZ products for many years to help address fuel storage issues, mainly their ethanol fuel treatment and stabilizer. As you know, I'm not a take your word for it kind of guy. Many of you aren't either. So I decided to do a demonstration for you and prove KLOTZ claim that their ethanol fuel treatment can prevent and reduce phase separation. This cylinder contains 100 milliliters of 10% ethanol 93 octane fuel I purchased at my local gas station this morning. Since it only takes about 0.5% by volume of water to cause phase separation, I'll only add 1/2 of a milliliter of water to this and agitate it. We can see this mixture of ethanol and water sludge at the bottom after only adding just a tiny amount of water. Now, let's add the recommended 3 milliliter dose of KLOTZ and see what happens. No more sludge at the bottom here. Now I want to test an extreme case to see how much water can be suspended with the KLOTZ treatment. Let's add 10 times the amount of water at 5 milliliters. As you can see here, because we've added more water, we have more sludge here at the bottom. Now I want to show you that this is, in fact, a mixture of water and ethanol, and that it's non-flammable. Now let's add the recommended dose of the fuel system treatment. You see a little bit of clear liquid here in the bottom. Now keep in mind this is an extreme case. What you see here is actually not water. It's the top cylinder lubricants and decarbonizer in the KLOTZ treatment. Remember, this is an extreme case, and we've oversaturated this mixture. Both of these chemicals, the top cylinder lubricants and also the decarbonizer, are great for initial startups and are, in fact, as you can see, flammable. Both of those qualities make the fuel treatment great for year-round use as well, even in smaller doses like a few ounces every 2 to 3 tankfuls. As for the fuel stabilizer, its main purpose is to prevent oxidation and corrosion of the fuel system components, as well as guard against degradation of the fuel itself. This would take a lot more time to demonstrate, of course, but after seeing the results from the ethanol treatment and the fact I've used it for over a decade with spectacular results, I know this stuff works too. The best practice to protect a fuel system would be to fill your tank with non-ethanol fuel and the stabilizer. Now, if you only have access to ethanol fuel, then fill your tank and add a bottle of the ethanol fuel treatment as well as the prescribed dose of the stabilizer. You want to make sure that you ride your bike a few miles after you've done this, so your treated fuel will be completely circulated through your fuel system. Once you arrive back home, remove your air cleaner. You can clean it with KLOTZ air filter cleaner, and if your air filter is the type that should be oiled, you can oil it down with air filter oil as well. Now start the bike. While it's idling, spray the KLOTZ fogging oil directly into your intake until the engine stalls. Turn the switch off, then reinstall your air cleaner. And do not start the engine again until spring and you're heading out for your first ride. One big common mistake is to crank the engine and let it run for a few minutes throughout its time in storage. Resist the urge. Don't do it. Repeated blasts of cranking fuel will contaminate your oil and wash your cylinder walls down. Also, the engine never runs long enough for any of the condensation to evaporate. Repeated heat cycles in a cold environment will cause condensation to occur. So don't crank it unless you plan on riding it for a while. And next, if possible, it's good practice to remove your battery and place it on a trickle charger. If you can't remove your battery, at least disconnect the cable or pull your main fuse, leaving only your trickle charger connected. Now, I'll give you a little quick tip. If your bike has a security system, turn the switch on. Wait for your security system to deactivate. Turn the switch off, and before your security system has an opportunity to arm, which is about 2 seconds, you want to pull that main fuse. Your security system will be deactivated, and the bike will be good to be stored at that point. After the bike is cooled down, give it a really good detail, or save that for those cold winter nights when you have nothing else to do. Now for the test. We are looking for 5 people to help with proving the pudding, so to speak. We need you to be able to do your own oil changes, take small samples of your oil, send those to us for analysis, and then be able to ride your bike 5,000 miles in a relatively short period of time. You, of course, would receive free KLOTZ oil filter, and the analysis would be at no charge, and we're going to actually do 3 of those oil analyses for you. If you're interested in more details, send an email to sales@baxtersgarage.com. Include your bike, year, model, mileage, any modifications, what brand of oil you currently use, and of course your contact information. All the products you've seen here are available on our website at baxtersgarage.com, as well as the oil analysis service I mentioned. You can also get these and others from KLOTZlube.com or your local dealer. Following these steps will ensure your bike will start on that first warm spring day when you hit the start button. As always, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a good one.